I'm Zibby Owens, and you're listening to the award-winning podcast, Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. Please sign up for my newsletter at zibbyowens.com for updates on podcast guests and lots of live events. Hi, everybody. I hope you're having a great week. This week, I am pleased to announce that my sponsor is going to be somebody I've picked. I'm not accepting money from sponsors anymore. I'm just trying to help out small businesses while we all go through this period of time. And I've collaborated with Page One Books, pageonebooks.com, and the one is not O-N-E, it's page number one, pageonebooks.com, and also Hampton's Hand Poured, which is a small candle making business. And the three of us have teamed up to create a book box bundle containing 3 books that are particularly relevant / funny / entertaining for this period of time. One by John Kenny, one by Carla Naumberg, and one by Jen Gotch. And also a candle that has a label that says "Next Chapter, Please," because I don't know about you, I'm definitely ready for the next chapter of life. So please go on pageonebooks.com. 15% of the proceeds, which is my entire portion, I'm donating to COVID-19 recovery efforts. So buy yourself a box, send a box to someone who you know needs a pick-me-up. It'll be really helpful. They'll read the 3 books, light a candle, and feel immediately better. Now's the time, and it helps support these 2 small businesses, Page One Books and Hampton's Hand Poured, and you'll make a difference on so many levels. So please check it out. It's on my website, and it's also on pageonebooks.com. Thanks so much. Also, just wanted to remind you that this week, like every week, I have 5 new essays up in We Found Time, my new online magazine. We Found Time's 5 essays this week are written by Christina Geist, Tiffany Schlane, Wendy Walker, Beth Riccinati, and Mara Laura Philpott, who have all been on my podcast already, so you might have listened to their episodes, or you should go back and listen to them again. And they've written fantastic essays on everything from taking one day off a week for technology to not prioritizing finding a new man when you have a teenage boy at home. All sorts of great stuff. So please check out wefoundtime.com any day this week for our 5 new essays. I'm here today with Darcy Miller, who's the founder of Darcy Miller Designs. She's the author and illustrator of Celebrate Everything, Fun Ideas to Bring Your Parties to Life, and also Our Wedding Scrapbook. She has been an editor at Martha Stewart for 25 years, including as editorial director of Martha Stewart Weddings for 23 years. And now she's editor at large. She collaborates with Chasing Paper, Lenox, Graphic Image, Francis Valentine, Maison La Biche, Amazon, Georgetown Cupcakes, and many other brands. She was recruited by Serena Williams to make custom goodie bags for Meghan Markle's baby shower. She currently lives in New York with her husband and 3 daughters. Welcome, Darcy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Your book, Celebrate Everything, is so great for so many reasons. The visual part of it, the idea that you just have to celebrate life because you never know what's going to happen next, and you might as well. I just love it. I love everything about it. So I'm so excited to talk to you about it. Can you tell, now that I've summarized it, can you just talk a little more about what it's about, how you ended up illustrating and putting it together, and just the whole backstory of this book?
Great. Well, I have always loved to celebrate. And for me, celebrate is less about like actual parties, but more about just, celebrating people you love. And it can be a big party, like a 50th birthday or an anniversary party or a wedding, but it can be something as simple as, making the breakfast table festive on Valentine's Day. And so over the years, my mom is super creative. Growing up, she always was making our Halloween costumes and making our birthday invitations. And so growing up, it was just part of me that I had parents who spent the time and to do something that was appreciated. And it was a way of showing a token of your love and affection. And so when I was a kid, I started to make things for people. I actually had a party favor business when I was in 7th grade. And then I used to take earrings and poke them into like a little picture of me and sell them. There's a store on 83rd and Mascon. It was called Stone Free for Kids. Maybe it was like 81st. And I used to go to the bead store and sell earrings. And so if I was always making these things, I had a party favor business. I went to University of Pennsylvania and I did it there. And then when I graduated, I said, my parents were like, well, you have to get a real job before you do your business. You should get some work experience. And I actually had like a handful of interviews. I interviewed with Anna Wintour to be her assistant.
Wow.
I interviewed with this new magazine called Martha Stewart that was just launching. And it had I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, I can dye Easter eggs for a living. This is it. And I started there, in 92 and did kind of a little bit of everything. And over the time there as a stylist, I really loved the entertaining stories. And so I continued to throw parties. I did it at work. I styled Easter stories, Passover stories, and then was always entertaining on my own. And the whole time I was entertaining, people would say, you should write a book. I love your parties. I'd love to see them. And I was full-time, at Martha Stewart for many, many years. I am now the editor-at-large there. But I finally decided that how can I share all these parties? And I know that, many people said to me, do it as a website, just put them, figure a way to do it digitally. But for me, I'm a book person, and I felt like I really want to put them in a book. So that's kind of how it happened. And, it was a combination of a lot of parties that I really threw. My daughter's name is Daisy, so a Daisy birthday party. Martha, I threw a 70th birthday for her. It's a bunch of real parties, but then it's really, really packed with tons and tons of service and ideas. And, for me, what was really important is that people get it. That it inspires people, and then they can do a whole party, or they can take one idea, or they can take no ideas, but it inspires them to do something else. Because as I said, it's very much about, I think the title says it all, celebrate everything, and there's a spread in the beginning of the book that has like reasons to celebrate. And it has, obviously birthday, anniversary, but it's like, you lost your tooth, you got a new job, you quit your job, like whatever. And, there's a lot of negative things in the world. It's nice to, appreciate and celebrate, take time to celebrate.
I love all that. I feel like one of my bigger expenses is like paper goods. Because I feel like any holiday or occasion, I'm like, let's get fun plates and put them out for breakfast. Like the whole, like, why not? Like Oscar, movie plates, and let's get Valentine's plates, like you said. And it's so fun. It's just so fun to inject a little bit of like whimsy into the everyday chaos.
Definitely. And I think that like, your point about just adding, the Oscar plates is that for me, it's really about creating traditions and creating memories. And again, not that paper plate is, that's a material thing. But for my kid, like for me, I remember my mom doing these little things, or writing little notes, or tying a ribbon on my napkin, or whatever it is. And I think I really do feel like my kids appreciate it. And if anything, what brings me joy is sometimes, like this morning, actually, my daughter wanted to go to school early. She's like, it's my teacher's birthday. I'm in charge. We're going to surprise her. And, and she had, had some, God knows what was in her knapsack, party hats stuffed in there. But just for me, the fact that she wanted to make the effort to celebrate a teacher who does so much for them. And I felt like, okay, I've done a good job. She's throwing a party for a teacher. And again, no matter how big or small, just showing a little appreciation goes a long way.
It's so true. And your book is so great with there's a bazillion ideas in here. Like I was going through with my kids, and my daughter's like, ooh, I want to do the sleepover party. And the other one's like, I want to do the spa party. And some are more, run of the mill, but some are just so fun, and just the idea, like so many ideas in here. I was like, oh my gosh, like I've been wasting all my time with like other events. These are so creative.
Well, it's fun. Thank you. And it's funny you say that, because when we were doing it, we're like, wait, should the party just be part of the part? Should the book be just 4 parties that we break down? Because within just the swim party, there's different food ideas. There's game ideas. There's swimming. They're like, the swim party could almost be its own book.
It's true. And I'm like, I would never think to put a Swedish fish in a bowl of gumballs. Is that what it was? But it looks so cool. I'm like, you just have the most creative ideas.
Well, thank you. And I have to say that for me, I just wanted to pack it in so that there was so many different options for people. And I also felt it was important to have different levels of takeaway. So some things are a little more crafty. Some are like anyone can do. And even when there's an idea, like there's one, speaking of the pool party, there's one swimming pool, blue donut swimming pool.
Yes,
and
that was so cool.
So, you are given the choice. You can buy donuts. You can have custom donuts made. You can also get just regular donuts. And put a little dye and some frosting and make them blue, or put sprinkles. And so it's really hoping to give it's a jumping off point for other people to celebrate. And so,
even just your 50 different kinds of confetti. You're like, you can use this as confetti. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did she come up with all these things? It's amazing.
Well,
and just visually, the photography in this book, it's so aesthetically pleasing. It's so fun, and you just can't help but feel joyful when you read it, right?
Well, thank you.
Colors and
I do think that that's hopefully the mood and the feeling that I can help inspire in other people. And as I said, I really love to entertain. It's something that I grew up with, and it's something that I'm doing with my kids and is a big part of kind of my life. But no matter who you are, for me, I love it when we'll post something on Instagram and then I'll see how people have interpreted it. And, or people will say to me, well, I'm not a crafty person, or I don't normally do this stuff, or, I'm someone who normally always buys a card, but I just saw your Valentine thing and it was so easy. I just printed it out. I didn't even have to buy anything. It was so easy. So I feel I hope that there is a lot of confetti on the cover, but that little spark of joy is sparked in other people.
Totally. Tell me how your editorial experience sort of played into this. Did you look at this as if it was a magazine? You must be looking at things in a certain way after all these years in the magazine world.
Yeah, I think that it was probably, obviously, the magazine experience, such as Martha Stewart Weddings, and helps to figure out, telling a story, and do you want how-tos, and what are the details, and, what's the pacing of it. Given even that I had all that experience, I would not say that it was a smooth road to get it done. As you can tell from the book, is a more is more kind of person. So there was a lot to figure out and how I could get it all in, and, and how you divide it up. At one point, it was going to be, A through Z of parties, and an idea for A, an idea for B. There were so many different ways to break it up. And
you could do those next,
Exactly. Well, I don't know. I don't know. My kids will still be talking to me if I do another book. I will say that it was a lot of work.
How long did it take to put it together?
Well, when people say how long did you work on the book, I'm like, I've worked on the book all my life, because it's all the tips and ideas I've been kind of, that's been building. But I actually probably spent maybe 2 years actually working on the book. And, because as I said, a lot of them, I also wanted it to be so packed with information that when I show you an anniversary party, I was like, wait, but then I want all the sources, but then I want the recipe. So I was going back and figuring out. And, even when I knew it, I knew that for the source guide, there might be an Etsy company that that person's not doing it. But I figured it's still better to give everyone all the sources. And if a handful are out of business, or don't make that product, at least it's pointing you to a company that you can look to for other party hats or for other customized chocolates. And because I think for me, a big part of my brand and what we do at Darcy Miller Designs, it's inspiring people, but also bringing in all these amazing experts and sources and ideas and that are out there. And it's, for me, people say oh, thanks for sharing. I'm like, what do you mean thanks for sharing? Of course I'm going to share. That's half of it. Great that I'm showing you, this cookie with a photo on it, but don't you want to know? Yeah, I want you to know that, great Etsy person, or that you can get these right on Amazon, or, because sometimes when you're talking about the fishbowl, there's that one favorite that looks like a fishbowl filled with blue candy and one gummy, which is great for a centerpiece, but sometimes people don't realize easy, you could literally click on Amazon and have that in 5 minutes. You could have that favorite here tomorrow. But people sometimes look and oh, this looks so good. How can I do it? Where is it from? So it's important to me to share all those sources and vendors.
And tell me about how you transitioned from being a magazine editor to your own brand and your own, because now you're a thing of yourself. You are. No, it's true.
Okay, Mom. Well, as I said, I have always in me been, celebrating and even I was, for my high school, I went to Chapin, I'm making some photo booth props for some, an event that they're doing. And one of the teachers said to me, "Oh, these look just like what you made for when you made the 12th grade." I don't even remember. I guess I made a field day T-shirt, and she's like, "Remember you had the posters that you had on the front?" I was like, "No, I don't remember anything." So I feel like I have been doing it, but I will say that, as Martha Stewart as a company has grown and evolved over the years, and, there was a transition when the magazines went to Meredith, and there was a little bit of a shift in, some people stayed on, some people went and, did other things, and it was kind of a good natural time for me to move on to do my own thing. And I feel lucky because I still get to dabble, and as editor-at-large, I still get to have my toe in the weddings world, which I love.
What does that mean, editor-at-large? I always see that. What exactly?
I think it depends. There's probably a lot of different kinds of editors-at-larges. For me, I just still have a presence. I'll have a column in an issue, or I bring some ideas, or depending, do an appearance. So I think it's different wherever. But obviously, Martha Stewart Weddings is my baby. So it's nice to be able to still, be involved in some way. And all the team at Martha is so talented. And, there were many of us for many years. I mean, this is the 30th anniversary of Martha Stewart living. And I had dinner recently with two of my, friends from Martha. And, we were saying, like, we've known each other for 30 years. That's crazy. We've all had, gotten married, had children, gone through good times, bad times. So it's nice to still, be connected to that group, and a lot of my, kind of coworkers, and I don't even want to say coworkers because I feel like Martha Stewart was a family, or like it was a team, but a lot of them in different ways I still work with, even ones who are not at Martha, who I was mentioning Eleni Gage before to you, who has a book, Lucky in Love, and, we work together. And so it's made a lot of friendships too.
That's so nice. And you're doing all these collaborations now with different companies.
Yeah. I mean, I think that for me, the brand really launched with Celebrate Everything. And then I've spent the last couple years, that was 3 years ago. So I've been just kind of spending the last couple years starting to build the brand, and like all things, figuring out, kind of what it is, prioritizing. I kind of was lucky because so many opportunities just, felt, kind of came to us, and everything from, merchandise. I curated a love shop for Bloomingdale's last year, and so produced everything from, Lenox China, an Estee Lauder, So, we've done everything from that to, sponsored content. We did a first eBay, we did a satellite media tour about how you throw a royal wedding, and giving people ideas. And really, though, what the thread through all these different projects and opportunities has been inspiring people to celebrate everything, whether it's through the Instagram, through Pinterest pictures, through TV segments. I did a segment with Ryan and Kelly. Kelly wasn't there that day, it was Elizabeth Banks, but I did a segment on their show about, kind of kicking off the holiday season and cocktails, although I did not tell them. I will tell you, I actually don't drink, which was funny. Everyone thought, not that I'm against it, I just I'm not a big drinker, but my husband thought it was funny that I was mixing cocktails at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, it's been fun to have these partnerships, and we have a really fun Chasing Paper, which is a removable wall decal line, and we make frames, again, inspiring you to be personal, like they're decal frames, and you can put your kids' art in it. You could put a nail and hang your keys in it. It's an easy way, whether you're in a college room, a kid's room, an office, or you're having a party. If you were having a birthday party in a location, you're not allowed to hang anything on the walls. You can just put these decals, tape some pictures on. We have a window, a view of Paris, a view of New York. We have a bunch of different fun decals. So that's one collaboration. And for the month of February, we have a Georgetown cupcake collaboration.
Thank you so much.
Which, okay, good.
The cupcakes were so good. They were so cute. Everything. Like all of your presentation is just like amazing.
It's fun. And I will say that one of the things about the brand is the attention to detail. Mm-hmm. And it may be something as I grow my brand that I may need to, let go of a little more. But, it's always, for me, it's that attention to and that other little surprise. So when Georgetown said, we would love to collaborate on this cupcake, and I said, great. And then I was like, can we personalize the box? Can we put a sticker in it? Can the sticker have foil? Can it be multiple stickers? I mean, I do think that, when you're receiving a gift, whether you're a design-oriented person or not, it just, that little extra detail kind of makes a difference.
I totally agree. It just makes the thoughtfulness, right? It's like the whole, like, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel like people took the time.
Right. I like to think so. And as I said, I see in my kids that they, they'll say, Mom, it's this person's birthday. Like, I'm getting a group together. We're doing this. And it really, for me, because it's really about, doing things for people you love and making them feel good. And doesn't have to be, your husband. It could be your dog walker. It could be your doorman. It could be your yoga instructor. But just, making sure you show appreciation for, people around you and creating the memories.
That's true. That's true too. I mean, that's what life is all about.
Yeah. So. And actually one thing that is in the book, and I don't know if you've read every word, but one big thing for me is this idea of DIT.
I did read every word. Okay. Thank you very much. Yes, I did.
I'm looking around, this office here and seeing, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm having trouble focusing because I just want to look at all the books that you've read. But
I have not read every single book, every single word in this whole room. I have not. I have a lot of books I would really like to read.
I'm really, really impressed. I want to go fill up my bookshelves, although I do have a lot of party books. But I think that for me, DIY, when we were putting the book together and I was, talking to, the writer about kind of what the essence of it, and I kept on saying, it's really about creating memories with people that you want to create them with. And so, whether it's your girlfriends for Galentine's and so that's where DIT came, which is, yes, there is a lot of DIY. There's a lot of things projects that you can make from the book. A kiss crown where you just cut out a paper crown and take lipstick and kiss it. And then that could be, a centerpiece. It could be, again, a galentine. It could be a bachelorette hat, forget the tiara. But more than it being, or on top of it being DIY, this idea that DIT and do it together, and that finding these little things, whether it's finding some tradition that you do, and it could be making a playlist. For everyone, it's different. Some people are crafty. Some people like to cook. I love the idea of, one person told me that they have a tradition that the dad with the kid always makes their birthday cake the night before. And that's then they look at cookbooks and they figure out what it's going to be this year. And, not that it's anything elaborate, but it's part of their childhood of baking these cakes, which I love. I'm like, is it too late to start that? My kids are 16 and 14 and 11. I better get going. But I do think that this year we sent a digital invitation out and for my 11-year-old's birthday. And she said, well, Mom, are we going to make something and send it to? And for her, it wasn't that she cared about the invitation itself. It was the process that we draw it and then we get some stickers or we put some confetti in it. And it's just that this process of this project that we do together. And so again, I felt I've done a good job. The fact that you was actually missing making the invitation together, to me, was a good sign. I was like, we can make something else. Let's make the favors.
So I know you can buy a lot of the things on your website. Yeah. But if somebody, do you do parties? If somebody was like, I want you to do my party, would you?
I mean, I'm not a party planner.
I know, but
I leave that to, I do a handful. I do more partnered or corporate kind of favors, only because I'm not set up to be doing one-off favors and the time, when someone will say they really want, I'm like, it will be really expensive,
right.
which doesn't, make sense for most people. So like occasionally I'll do, something on a bigger budget event. And I would love to, and, because I love the challenge of someone telling me like, oh, my kid loves, this is the dog, but they also love soccer. Like, I love that challenge. Actually, I did for Dylan Dreyer, was from the Today Show. They had a baby shower for her and they asked me to help with some details. So I was like, okay, she's, does the weather, but she likes sports. So I ended up doing this page, which was really cute, which was a newspaper that you filled in, and it looked like the weather it had the weather section, but it was like the sports section.
I like it.
So I do like that, making it personal, and I try to have the website have as many of those ideas as possible. And then we have an Amazon shop. So when we do all this party stuff, you can just go Darcy Miller, Amazon, and you can see where I get my canisters, where I get my candy, where I get, as I said, all for sharing all my sources. That's part of, what you're here for. So.
And what is coming next year? Do you think you'll do another book?
As I said, I have to think about my relationship with my family before I do another book. No, because it was a lot of work. I would like to do a lot of work. I'm taking this little bit of time right now to try to get organized as a small business. Mm-hmm. I've worked with so many talented people, both, outside cookie bakers and to David Stark, the event designer, to amazing freelancers who've worked within my team. And I have, a handful of a lean group of amazing young women who have worked with me over the years, but I don't have a lot of full-time people. So I'm kind of taking this little moment to try to get organized and hire an assistant and hire, all the things that, when you're a startup, you want to be conservative about it. But then you get to the point that you need to, put in the infrastructure to actually grow at a faster pace. So, and then I have a fun collaboration coming up this summer with the Minions.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
You'll have to look out for that.
That's very cool.
So, yes. And that was super exciting project, and I'm excited for that.
Do you have any advice to someone who's trying to embark on a book like this, a project like this?
I mean, my advice for people who tell people not to do a book is yes, do it, because it is, I feel like, a fun project. And I would say my only advice is like, and not that from my experience, that like, talk to people, get advice, every book is different, kind of do your research. Like for me, I actually didn't really look at, I know what's out there and I love all my friends' books in the space, but, I kind of took it I always take everything I do with the point of view is, what do I really want? If I'm having a party, what do I really want, as opposed to, kind of what's been done, And so again, I approach the book with, okay, well, I would want pictures of parties. I'd want to know where this stuff is from. I'd want to know some advice along the way. And sticking to kind of your vision, obviously with the help of a good editor. Every book publisher, that I work with HarperCollins, and, it was great to have my editor to like bounce things off. I'm like, should the parties be split up? What do you think? It's great to have that partnership. But at the end of the day, there were some things that like I stood on it, which is maybe why it took a little longer, but I'm glad that I did. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thank you. I just want to now, I love your podcast and I love listening and I love your, kind of joy and passion for books. And, in this digital world, I love that you love books.
Thank you. Me too.
So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. You've been listening to Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books with Zibby Owens. Please make sure to sign up for my newsletter at zibbyowens.com to get more updates about episodes like these and also lots of live events. Again, today's episode has been sponsored by my collaboration with Page One Books and Hampton's Hand Poured. Please check out the book box bundle retailing on pageonebooks.com, also available on my website, zibbyowens.com. Please check it out. And thanks again for checking out wefoundtime.com for this week's 5 new essays. You can follow me on Instagram at Moms Don't Have Time to Read Books. Thanks so much to Steve and Ryan at Texture Sound for the sound editing. And thank you to Morning Moon Productions for providing this fantastic intro and outro music. Thanks for listening. You could always email me at zibby@zibbyowens.com. Have a great week, everyone.